So for this short lecture on auditing, we're going to discuss who is part of the financial statement audit process. So first off, where do the financial statements come from? Well, usually they're created by some super accountant or robo-accountant in some back office and they magically appear. No, that's not how it happens. It's really quite a team effort. So your company, inside your company, you've obviously got people in sales, manufacturing, operations, finance, and other departments. They're using information systems all the time or different forms, whatever it takes to compile that accounting data and bring that together through the accounting and financial reporting group. Those financial statements kind of start there. And so when we start to discuss the key parties involved in the auditing of financial statements, the first point is management. Management will review these financial statements and ensure that they have all the proper disclosures, all the internal controls throughout the company are working properly. So management is truly our first party involved in auditing the financial statements. But management may have drivers or incentives that may take them away from the internal control focus and really focus in on making sure that the financials are good. So we want to make sure we've got something within the company, especially a publicly traded company, to ensure that things are working properly. So enter the internal audit function. The internal audit function is comprised of individuals within that company. Usually they have external audit experience or they have good operational and internal control experience, but they check on operations throughout the year and make sure the right things are happening there. They'll test the information systems for the proper controls. They'll also do internal audits of the accounting and financial reporting areas so that we know that things are rolling up right. And they'll also audit management once in a while too to make sure management's doing what they're supposed to do. So therefore, the second party involved in auditing our financial statements is the internal audit group. Well, here's something interesting. If you'll notice, the internal audit group is within the company. So that means they probably report to someone in management, which wouldn't that be a potential conflict of interest or bias? So really, we'd like that internal audit group to have someone they can talk to when maybe management has some problems or management isn't addressing the problems. Well, the board of directors got a little concerned about that, and so we have an audit committee that's usually comprised of the board of directors, and they'll work with that internal audit function to understand what issues are going on within the company, maybe set up the agenda for the year that that internal audit function will focus on, and that'll help them be aware of any issues that are going on with management. So let's add audit committee as our third member of the parties involved in auditing the financial statements. So now we're all set and ready to produce our financial statements and related disclosures. Well, no, that's where external auditors come in. They're going to do the external view of this, the external audit of those financial statements. They're selected by the audit committee, so the audit committee doesn't just help the internal audit function, they select that external auditor. So the last member of our key parties involved in auditing the financial statements is the external auditor. So let's do a quick summary on the key parties involved in the financial audit. We've got management. They maintain the internal controls and approve and prepare the reports. We've got the internal audit function. Provides internal assurance on internal controls and reports. We've got the audit committee. They provide oversight of the reporting process and other parties like the third-party auditor or the external auditor. And the external auditor, who provides an independent audit on the internal controls and financial statements. So that concludes this brief lecture on who is part of the financial statement audit process.